Creating images and image stacks that convert is the fundamental thing you need to do to be successful on Amazon, and a lot of sellers get it wrong. The psychology of how to set up your images goes really deep. There's a lot of science behind this. Anthony Cofrancesco goes really deep into how distracted your buyers are, the way you have to lay out your images, the order you put them in, and why it works in this clip. Make sure you check it out and then check out the entire masterclass after that.
What I have put together here, these are some pretty good best practices. And what these are based on is over the years, meeting people at conferences, getting on calls, people will say like, hey, Anthony, can you take a look at my listing? And I wanted to try to put together a framework that would be helpful for everyone, even though I wouldn't have time to look at everyone's listing. So this is like the culmination of hours and hours of analyzing people's listings and trying to find trends that are applicable to most products. What you're going to find on the Amazon platform is that you see the same thing over and over and over again in your niche. So while not everything I show is going to one-for-one correlate with your brand, there is going to be, I think, a significant overlap. And the reason why the advice I'm going to give you works is because of what I'm about to show you here. It's really just how the brain works. So what you should remember, and I know I say this in every single talk that I give about visual optimization, but this is science, this is true. The human brain is a giant graphics processor. It's like 90% of all of the information that's transmitted through your brain is visual. So while you're sitting there, yes, your brain is making your heart beat. And yes, you can feel the chair that you're sitting on. And if you have a fan blowing, you can feel that, and you hear your computer fan running, and maybe there's some noise going on in the background. But believe it or not, the primary function of your brain is actually just processing visuals that are coming through your eyeballs. And that's 90% of everything that your brain is used for. So while you're watching me right now, I've got like a ring light in the background. I've got these two screens. I've got the rest of my room behind me. And my brain is processing all of that, although it's focusing most on the visual field in front of me. And I call this hacking the brain because it's literally like you have a USB or a Thunderbolt cable, whatever they are for Apple. And it's like if someone's looking at your listing, you're plugged directly into their brain and you're communicating with the key decision maker about whether they're going to buy your product or not buy your products. And this is happening faster than we even can perceive at a subconscious level. The human brain is going to process an image 70,000 times faster than text. And the reason this is so important for shopping on Amazon and conversion optimization is because when people land on the Amazon platform, the vast majority of the time, they're going to buy a product. In fact, the average conversion rate of a Prime shopper is 74%. So if you're looking at your listing, at your conversion rate, and you're saying, well, my listing doesn't convert at 75%. Well, that it's not saying that your product converts at 75%. It means if someone's looking for a cat tower, at 75% of the time, they're going to buy the product on Amazon's platform versus like leaving and going and buying it somewhere else. The drop rate is extremely low. And that's because by the time someone gets to Amazon, they type in cat tree or cat tower into the search bar, they already know that they want to buy this product. And the vast majority of times, they will buy the product, and it's either going to be yours or it's going to be someone very similar to what you're selling, if not the exact same thing. And so what convinces them to buy the product is going to come down almost exclusively to the visual signals that you have on your listing, not your title, not your bullet points, not anything else. It's going to be largely your visuals.
Hey, if you're enjoying this content, you're going to love the masterclasses that we host on a regular basis. We've got over 1,000 members in our private community, and over 400 of them are already doing over $1 million. We regularly host masterclasses with hundreds of students, and you can find out more below. Join us.
The caveat to this is that we have this expectation that when someone's shopping on Amazon, they're the person on the left-hand side. They've got their credit card out, they've got a big smile on their face, and they're like totally zoomed in, zoned into your listing, reading all of your images, looking at all of your A+ content, watching your videos, reading all the reviews. But the reality is, and tonight is especially accurate, I'd be curious to see what the conversion rate and the view page time is on Amazon. The reality is people just want to get back on with their lives. They know that they want something. They want to get onto Amazon, find whatever suits their needs. They've got the phone going off, the kid running around in the background, there's elections going on and they're super anxious, or they just want to like get back to their life, right? And we have to be ready to communicate in a way that's extremely fast and extremely to the point, and it matches up exactly what that customer is looking for with what is shown in your listing. And so what we're going to want to do is tailor our listing to be effective in a distracted shopping environment. So if we have 6 images potentially in our gallery and the first one doesn't match the mark, there's a chance that that shopper is going to say, you know what, this product isn't for me, close the tab, let me go to another one. And then they ultimately end up purchasing your competitor's products, right? Same thing here too. If you have 6 images in the gallery and 3 out of the 6 do not match up with what the customer's looking for, they're going to bounce. They're going to find someone who explains that not everyone is going to get to image, in this case, 5 and 6 here, and ultimately say, oh, you know what? I'm glad I stuck around because I saw this here, or I saw it further down in the A+ content. It's just not realistic. And so what we want to try to do, this is a best practice, give extra attention to the images in position 2 and 3. These are going to have the larger view percentage of the images in your gallery. And for anyone that joins our masterclass next week, the paid version or free for anyone who's an inner circle, we're going to dig deeply into this, right? What are the processes for creating a good set of images, but then figuring out things like how should you be leveraging manager experiments to test image order? This is huge and it's very easy to do. So we put together this graphic here. This is not based on Amazon data. Amazon doesn't currently give us this data, but imagine 100% of the people who interact with your listing see your main image. And then by the time we get down to image position 6, there's some drop off. What we want to try to do is to prioritize our images so that images in position 2 and 3 are the most important, the things that the shopper needs to know most before buying the product. But we also want our image gallery and our A+ content to be interacted with in a way that allows someone to go through the listing quickly. And each time that they see the image, it clicks right away. This is what the purpose of this image is. And you don't make them work for it. And the goal is, if instead of you really have to spend 5 seconds or 10 seconds to analyze each image, and by the time I get 6 images into the gallery, I've already spent a minute, who has a minute, right? If we can get these instead to be like, how can I understand the purpose of this image in like 1 second or 2 seconds? Now, not everyone has a minute, but everyone has 12 seconds. They can go 1, 2, cool. 1, 2, cool. 1, 2, cool. And so what we want to try to do is like shift this curve down so that our information, our images are easily digestible, and someone's going to get through the gallery in your A+ content faster. They're going to be able to absorb more of what they're seeing. And hopefully, if enough of these checkboxes are checked each time that they see an image, this is like thing number 1, thing number 2, thing number 3, 4, 5. Then they're like, okay, this one checks off the boxes, add to cart, back on with my life. We're going to cover this in depth in next week's masterclass. I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot more advanced than this. We have a whole workflow and a sheet that we give out. You can access the sheet even if you don't pay for the masterclass or are not an inner circle. You can find it at datadive.tools/workflows. But you're not going to get the deepest explanation and to see the case study of us actually putting it all together. But if you want to try to attempt this on your own, I think most people can figure it out.